Hey guys, what's up? Demir from Lifehack Method. As some of you may already know, we have a tribe, a membership of people who are putting this work together in their life. And this month in Tribe, the topic was how to hack your health and fitness so that you can work and be effective, but also be fit. So today I'm going to be doing a book summary of hands down one of the most profound books that I've ever read in my life on eating. It's called Intuitive Eating. Now, this book was introduced to me exactly 1 year ago. And before we get into it, I just want to give you a little bit of my background with eating. I personally have had such a terrible relationship to food and to eating my entire life. And although it didn't impact my health in a serious way or my work, it didn't actually derail my life. It just took up so much real estate in my head and really made me miserable. At a certain point, probably in my 30s, I started to realize that the amount of time and emotions that I was putting into eating was just insane. Should I have the burger? Should I not have the burger? Maybe if I take the cheese off the burger, it'll be okay. What if I have the burger with the cheese but no fries? And of course, the inevitable, oh no, I ate the hamburger and I feel terrible about myself now. Again, just the shame and the guilt and the thinking and the strategizing, it just became too much. This is what the author of this book calls the food fight, the exhausting, never ending battle with food that consumes so much of our time and attention and energy. And the funny thing is, despite having struggled with my weight literally since 10 years old and been on a diet since my teens, I was still losing my battle with weight. Out of pure frustration, I reached out to a friend and she recommended this book to me. And I swear, within 10 pages, I was like, where has this book been all my life? I really wish that I could go back and give this book to the 16-year-old version of myself. Now, fast forward 1 year later, and I can tell you the food fight is completely over. I've developed a new intuition that allows me to eat whatever I want, whenever I want. I know that sounds crazy. I'm going to explain to you how that works. And even though this is not a weight loss program, ironically, I weigh 10 pounds less this year than I did last year. So go figure. Now, let me qualify that statement. I think some people are selling intuitive eating like a magic wand. You get to get your brain back and no more guilt, and you feel great about food, and you're going to lose all this weight. Not so fast. So let me explain how that works. First, I did the work. I spent time every single week reading, thinking, and journaling about the teachings in the book. At the end of the day, I really don't think about this book as much of a book as a workbook. You really got to work it. Second, there's a lot of nuance around this book. Sure, you can eat whatever you want, but I found that what I want to eat, my cravings have actually shifted and changed. Even when I eat Oreos like I did before, I don't eat as many as I did before. So there is magic happening, but it's not happening out there, it's happening here. Third, I think the book's title is a little bit misleading. Intuitive eating seems to lead you to believe that your intuition right now is great, so just go out and eat everything you want. When really, I think what the book's saying is that your intuition is broken and you need to fix it. And once you do fix your broken intuition around food, you will be able to eat whatever you want and trust yourself. So I think a better title would be How to Fix Your Broken Intuition Around Eating. But c'est la vie. So who's this book for and why is it so important for that person? This book is a great guide for you if you're the kind of person who's struggled with like food thinking and guilt and planning and anxiety, even if you're not overweight. And if you are overweight, this book is definitely for you. And if you're a chronic dieter, this book is definitely for you. I think it's important to acknowledge that we're going through a period in history where we've got more food in front of us than ever before, more abundance of food, but also the food itself has been engineered to be tastier, more addictive, more sugary, more fatty. And we haven't yet developed the etiquette or tools or cultural understanding to be able to handle that. I don't think this book is the end of that, but I do think it's the beginning of creating a really healthy etiquette, a healthy way of thinking about regaining trust in your food decisions. Let me give you big takeaways that I got from this book. This is by no means an exhaustive summary. Really, you should read this book. Takeaway number one, and this is going to hurt, diets don't work. Researchers at UCLA concluded that despite the short-term gain that you see in a diet, for almost everybody who takes a diet, being on diets itself is a predictor of future weight gain. That means that you would have been slimmer if you just never tried diets before in the first place. In other words, diets make the problem they purport to solve even worse. And when you think about it, it sort of makes logical sense, right? Because we've had a multi-billion-dollar diet industry for decades now, and as a population, we're more overweight than we've ever been. Takeaway number two, it's time to stop the food fight and make peace with food. You see, this oppositional sort of battle mentality that we have with food, we're going to war with food, it sabotages a healthy relationship with food. Diets are yet another voice asking you to outsource your intuition around food. follow this system, follow these rules. You don't have to think about it. Intuitive eating asks us to actually think about it more and get deeper and fix our intuition so that we can make healthy food choices. Studies have proven that all of that denial today, over time, just becomes overindulgence tomorrow. It's a waste of energy and ultimately it's a losing battle. The authors of this book say that the solution is to think about food more so that you can rebuild and reinforce your intuition around food. For me, intuitive eating was about connecting the second, third, and fourth order consequences of eating certain things. So the first order impact is, what am I craving and is it going to be tasty? Just instant gratification. The second order impact is, how am I going to feel the moment after I'm finished eating this? Interesting. Because if that's a pack of Oreos, maybe I'm going to feel some guilt or regret. The third order is, how's my body going to react in the next 48 hours to the thing that I just ate? And finally, the fourth order is, how is this going to impact my health for years and decades to come? You see, I was living on first order. What am I hungry for? What seems tasty? Let me eat it. All of the journaling, all of the thinking, all of the meditating on this allowed me to connect the second, third, and fourth order, and that actually changed what I was hungry for in the moment. It's pretty amazing. A lot of people seem to think that this is a really anti-science approach. I couldn't disagree more. I think it helps the more nutrition science you know. If you know about ketosis, about macronutrients and micronutrients, the Krebs cycle, the impact of sugar and fat on your body, what that does is it informs your intuition. But ultimately, the process itself of making a food decision is not a scientific or rules-based system. It comes from intuition that's been informed by what I know about nutrition science. This is what they call gentle nutrition, where the information is in your head and you just trust that it comes out if you're thinking about the first, second, third, and fourth order impact of that food. Takeaway number 4, and I'm only speaking for myself here, I do not think of intuitive eating as a weight loss mechanism or a weight loss strategy. A lot of you who know me know that I, about every 2 to 4 weeks, will do a protein-sparing, modified fast as my primary mechanism for reducing weight if I need to. So my primary use for intuitive eating is simply to try to stay weight neutral if I can, but enjoy eating. I used to not go out to bars and restaurants because I was afraid that I would be tempted by the food that I saw there, which meant that I was withdrawing socially, withdrawing from society, isolating myself because I was afraid of food and in a war with food. Now I don't have to live like that. But again, just to be clear, I use fasting from my primary weight control mechanism, not intuitive eating. Okay, now we've talked about why I think it's so great and how it's affected me. Let's get critical for a second. Let me boil down the critiques of intuitive eating into 3 main critiques that I saw. Number 1, it's not a great weight loss tool. I just went through this a little bit, but just to be clear, there are some people out there selling it as, I eat whatever you want and lose a ton of weight. I think we know that's probably not true. Number 2, it's not appropriate for all socioeconomic levels. A lot of us have the benefit of being able to get access to healthy food. We have the education to inform our intuitive eating with science. Not everybody has this opportunity. And number 3, despite what the title would suggest, it is not a blank check for eating everything in sight at all quantities. Now, whenever I read a book, as you know, I do a hypnotism score, and that just sort of says how enjoyable is it to read this book. I wouldn't give this book too high of a hypnotism score. I'm going to be honest, it's a dense read, but it's worth it. And for those of you who are wondering why are we covering this, Life Hack Method isn't just about productivity or working more efficiently. It's about solving the Rubik's Cube of life. And a big part of that Rubik's Cube is our mental and physical health. And so much of our mental and physical health gets harmed with bad food decisions. This book is such a great step in the right direction towards giving us a common etiquette and a common cultural framework that anybody can use to make better food decisions and have better mental health around food. If you like this video, give us a like. If you want more videos like this in your feed, subscribe below. And listen, check us out at Life Hack Method if you're the kind of person who wants to figure out how to solve the Rubik's Cube of life on all sides. See you in the next video.